What is up, Ravens Flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everyone to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my coach James Haskell. And this is another installment of our camp battles as training camp it's now. I mean, rookies have just arrived today. Veterans are soon to follow. And this is our, I think, 8th or 9th in our 10 position battles heading into camp. And this one's an exciting one. I think this is, if you had to look around the team as far as strength of position groups, you'd be hard pressed to find a group that's more, I think, good at good not just at the top, but good throughout. I mean, their last guy is going to be one talented player, and I think this is a group that could see a really good player cut, which would is never something Eric DeCosta or Ozzie Newsome or any of those guys want to do, is cut a really good football player. But we could see it with this group, and that is, of course, of the defensive line. So we're not talking about the outside linebackers and all that. Now we're talking D-line. We're talking the big hogs up front, Jimbo. So let everybody know what position groups that is and who is vying for these positions.
Yeah, so the way that it's classified is a few different ways, but, they have it as defensive tackle, and then even more specifically, you have the nose tackle, you have the right DN and the left DN. So just to give you a few names, left DN, you got a guy like we all know, Justin Metabike, and then a guy behind him, Khalil McKenzie. At nose tackle, you got Michael Pierce, and then, of course, the recent draft pick, Travis Jones. You got Isaiah Mack, you got Aaron Crawford. All the fire hydrants, as I like to call them. The right defensive end, as it is so classified, is Calais Campbell and Brent Urban, Broderick Washington, and Rashad Nichols. I'm trying to go down this list here. I don't think I missed anyone. I think I got everyone there.
You got them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, the way that ESPN has it set up is that it's Metabike, Pierce, and Calais. And obviously, like you said, Glenn, we're excluding the guys outside of them, but those would be the three. If we kept all these guys, which, I obviously don't see that happening. You're talking about, you said what, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 10. That's 10 guys.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And like you said, the difficult part about this group is that top to bottom, there's a lot of talented guys there. So how do you, talk to me about how you see this shaking out? You can start on the left side where it's Justin Metabike and kind of work that way, or however you see it. But how do you see this breaking out as far as this group goes?
Yeah, well, if you look at their past, I just pulled up the depth chart of, let's see, I have last year's depth chart as of October 1st. They had 7 guys on their on their depth chart listed at those positions. They had Derek Wolfe, Jihad Ward, Brandon Williams, Justin Ellis, Calais Campbell, Justin Metabike, and Broderick Washington. So if they typically keep 6 or 7 is what I looked at when I kind of went back in their history. So if they got 10 guys, the way I look at it is they're competing for 6 or 7 spots. That leaves at least 3 guys, possibly 4 guys on the outside looking in. So I'm going to start with some obvious locks that I think we can just kind of chalk up right now. So I'm going to go Justin Metabike as a guaranteed stone cold lock, along with fellow draft in his draft, Broderick Washington. I think those 2 guys aren't going anywhere. Both expected to take on bigger roles. Certainly Justin Metabike has high expectations. And I think Broderick Washington took a nice step forward last year. So I was excited to see what he had. So those 2 are locks in my opinion. Calais Campbell, obvious stone cold lock. Blessed to have him back. Fortunate the Ravens are that he decided to play one more year and continue to kind of not just play at a high level, but bestow wisdom upon the young guys below him. And then Brent Urban, I think, was a hell of an addition, and I'm glad to see him back. One of the more underrated Ravens that got away kind of a few years back, but good to see Brent Urban back in the building. So I look at those 4 guys as obvious locks, and Travis Jones as well, being as though he's a recent pick this year. And he's exciting. You talk about pass rush from the inside. He's a guy who can provide it, at least in theory. Let's see if he can do it when the lights are on. So that's 6 locks right there, Jimbo. Those guys ain't going anywhere. So there might
Mm.
be one spot left open for Khalil McKenzie, Isaiah Mack, Rashad Nichols, and Aaron Crawford. And right now, is the leader in the clubhouse not Isaiah Mack? Because, I mean, I don't know. That would be my leader right now. What is your thoughts on kind of how I look at it?
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. I think that Isaiah would be the guy. Aaron Crawford has been around for a while as well, hasn't he? I feel like he's just been hanging
He's had
around.
2 years of pro
Yeah.
ball.
But I certainly Isaiah Mack had some impact, had some moments,
Yeah.
right? And had a lot of people thinking he was Dalen Mack, myself as well. But was quickly corrected, and understanding that he was Isaiah Mack. He's a different Mack.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think he's got to be the front runner. The only concern I have there is the redundancy at his position, right? Like, you already got a Michael Pierce, you got a Travis Jones, and now so you're telling me you're carrying 3 of the fire hydrant category guys? Like,
Well, I don't think that I don't know if yeah, I guess so. I guess because of the uncertainty. Look, Michael Pierce has battled weight issues and he's got health issues that he's had throughout his career. Do you really bank on Michael Pierce being there for every week?
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Ah, golly day.
And then Travis Jones is a rookie. While we're high on him, he's a rookie who played at one of the worst football programs in all of football at UConn and was clearly the best player on his team.
Right. Yeah. Dang it. I mean, so all that does, like you said, is increase the value of one Isaiah Mack, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
just what it is at the end of the day. So,
Or they could go 6 and Isaiah could be on the outside and they could look to say, look, we need to add some more bodies to the outside linebacker room because of the uncertainty with the health up top, and we need depth there. So could they go light and just go 6 guys, or am I going heavy with 6? Like, do you see them going 5?
no. Let's see. No, because look, 5, you're talking Metabike, Pierce, Campbell, Urban, Washington. Are you
And
leaving out
Jones.
Jones?
Yeah,
That's
you can't leave
6.
out Jones. Yeah, it's
Right.
got to be 6.
Yeah. So I think 6 is the slimmest that you go, no pun intended, with this group of guys. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens. But I think Isaiah's the guy, and that group of guys, those 3 are the ones to look out for, because I think the ones that Glenn and I have declared locks are those 6 that we just previously mentioned. What it really comes down to, the ones you guys should keep your eyes on are, like Glenn said, Aaron Crawford, Isaiah Mack, and Rashad Nichols.
And Khalil McKenzie, I guess.
Or
Right?
sorry, yeah, and Khalil McKenzie as well.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting. I think we had Jelly Roll on the show last year, I think is what it was. And one of the things he talked about was being where he was in the depth chart. He had to learn something that he could do better than everyone else and just become a specialist at that.
Yeah.
And not necessarily better than everyone else, but so good that would maintain his place on the roster, right? When they need this done, he's going to get it done, without a shadow of a doubt. So these guys need to find what it is that they can do. I think, like, when Michael Pierce came in, when he was an undrafted guy, that you talked about it, Glenn, one thing he did distinctly better than Brandon Williams was rush the passer. I mean, didn't he have that safety or that sack fumble recovery, of the quarterback in preseason week 4? That will go down in Ravens history as preseason, career altering moments, right?
Yeah.
So we need to see that from one of these guys. What's your latest prediction then, or your ultimate prediction? Is it?
I think it's 6. I think it's 6 guys. When you look at their history, more often than not, it's 6, and so I think that's what they end up going with this year. There's no reason why one or even maybe 2 of these guys might be able to get through to the expanded practice squad, which I think the Ravens are maybe the best at taking advantage of those spots and kind of managing that whole extra wrinkle to the roster. So yeah, I got 6 guys, and I'm just hopeful, man. I get a little nervous. I get nervous about Michael Pierce and what's going on. He didn't show up to any of the camps. And that makes me nervous, even though the training or the coaching staff is kind of trying to make it seem like it's no big deal. It's something that they're aware of. But man, I'll be glad to see Michael Pierce at camp and hopefully in shape, past the conditioning test and practicing with his teammates. Because that's the only guy that kind of has me worried. I got obviously full confidence, Calais Campbell, Brent Urban, expect big things from Metabike in Washington. And Travis Jones has got, I think, anyone who's a Ravens fan excited about what he might be able to bring. The big question mark is it Michael Pierce, or is these issues that's keeping him away from these early camps going to extend into training camp or in the season? And in that case, then I think Isaiah Mack's the obvious replacement for him.
Yeah, not that we would release Michael Pierce. I don't think it would be financially beneficial based on the contract we just inked with him. But like you said, being on the
if he's not able to play.
Right, exactly. Let us know your guys' thoughts. We're excited about this group and can't wait to watch them in camp. Can't wait to watch them in the regular season. A lot of vets mixed in with some young guys. So give us all your thoughts and your comments below, and we'll talk to you soon.